Hey, I'm the Wolfman. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sure any of you out there who watch my videos who are into the outdoors know that you're not always starting fires in the most ideal of conditions. So what happens outside when you get to your campsite and it's wet and it's raining and it's just downright miserable? You take some wood, you try to cut some shavings, and what happens? Everything is all wet. Even if you go and you buy wood from a local parks commission or anything like that, or you bring wood in, the wood gets wet. Now what happens? It's not going to burn. You can try taking your knife and you can try shaving it, still not really going to burn. So I have a great solution that you can make yourself to help you with that. These are what we call survival candles, and today I'm going to show you how to make them. Now before you begin making these candles, you're going to need some supplies. So what I have here is everything that you're going to need. The first thing are some animal shavings. Now I would definitely recommend that you get some brand new, never used animal shavings, and don't just take wood like the wood here and chip it up with your knife. The reason is these animal shavings are designed to be very absorbent, and the absorbency is going to go a long way when we pour the wax. The next thing you're going to need is some wicks. I have some wick material here. These are used from old candles that I found around the house. I simply heated them up, pulled them all out, and they're going to be perfect for what we need. You're going to need some paraffin. Now you can get any kind of wax. If you have any old candles around your house, you can certainly melt those down, but for demonstration purposes, I have paraffin wax. And the last thing, of course, the final thing, is you're going to need an egg carton. The egg carton is great because it has this nice little cup inside it, and you can cut them to shape once you're done. So let's begin. We're going to start by getting everything prepared. So now that we have a little stove going and a small pot, we're going to take our wax right here. We're going to open it up, and we're going to throw a stick of the paraffin, which comes in these nice little sticks, into our pot, just like that. And we're going to place it on. And you want to make sure, of course, that you're using this in the proper environment. If you have a stove in your home, you can certainly cook it on a stove rather than on a portable camp stove. And you can see right here that it's melting very, very quickly. Now that we have our wax nice and hot in a liquid state, we're going to turn our attention to the next step, which is going to be to prep our egg carton. So this is our egg carton here. Best thing to do, you just tear this right off like this. And now you have what looks almost like an ice cube tray. This ice cube tray is what we're going to use to fill with our wax. I'm going to keep cutting this right off, just like that. So there we go. Perfect little area for all of our candles. The next step is we're going to take our wicks here and we're going to prep our wicks. And that's really simple. You just take the wicks out and you're just going to sort of put them in like this, just so we have them for later. There we are. After our wicks are in, the next thing we need to do is start with this, our shavings. So we're going to open up our shavings. And we don't need too many. Just a couple of handfuls. Now these are available at pretty much any pet store. This bag was about $5. And we're just going to kind of sprinkle them in, just like this. There we are. And you can see in the background the wax is melting very nicely. Now today we're just going to make a few of these candles. We're not going to make too much. Now the one thing you'll notice is that we can't fill right up to this level here. We're going to fill the candles up just to the little small spots right here on them. So that way the wax isn't going to drip over and we can cut these more individual. So it's going to work out a little bit better. It'll also make the candles a little bit smaller for us. If you don't want to use candles, one of the other things you can use is like little tiny drinking cups or anything like that. But we just happen to have some of these. So now I've got everything prepared here. We got our shavings, we got our wicks, we got our wax. We're going to take our wax. Now please be careful because this wax is very, very hot. And we are going to pour it into our tray, just like this. And you can see as it gets bigger, it's going to spill out. It's going to slightly inflate all of the little things that you put in here. Just like that. Now, because it's steaming a little, I'm just going to put a top on it. There we are. So these candles, believe it or not, are almost done. All we need to do now is we're going to take our wicks. We're going to put the wicks in. Now, just for simplicity, I'm just going to rest them on the side, just like this. Do the best you can to get them in the center, but it's not always going to be possible. You can also tape them on as well if necessary. There we are. Putting in our wicks. You can try to coil them up sometimes and sit them in like this if they will sit. It entirely depends on what's going to happen. Now, what I will also do is sometimes take a small meat stick and I'll just stir them up a little bit here. That way you get the maximum amount of wax that goes in all of your shavings in here. So that way you're going to have a much better time. You can also use these meat sticks as well to hold up your wicks if necessary. So now that our candles are all dry, the next thing I do is I remove my little sticks here, which keep the wicks in. Now what I do just for simplicity is I put a double wick in. So I took the single wick and I looped it in half over top of these. That way, just in the event that for some reason one of the wicks doesn't work right, I didn't set it properly, I have two chances. So that just makes my life a little easier in the event that I'm trying to start these in a wet fire. And again, what these are for is simply for if it's very, very wet outside and you're in a situation where you don't have any real dry kindling. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our knife, we're just going to cut them all up. And that's a pretty simple process. Just goes something like this. There we go. And then we're going to cut her one more time so we've got the two. And there we are, have it. Look at that. So now we have a nice little double-wicked candle right there in this nice, convenient little box. Now I can throw this in a Ziploc baggie, I can throw it in my backpack, and then I always have them. So in the event that I need to start a fire and it's very, very wet, you just throw a match on that, and she's going to burn really well. So to give you an example of the kind of flame we'll get, we're going to take our little thing, and we're just going to try to light her up and watch it burn. So there you have it. She's going to burn through the wick, and all the while what I could do is be putting small pieces of tinder on top of this, like this, and seeing what kind of a fire I can get going. Now if the wood is wet and you have it shaved small enough and proper enough, what's going to end up happening with this is it's going to dry out all of that, the small tinder that you've created. So as you can see, the candle's still burning after quite a few minutes. It's really easy to make these little fire-starting survival candles. A couple of supplies that you can get at pretty much any pet store, drug store, hardware store, things like that. Pour the wax in, cut them up. There you go. Look at that burning behind me. That's a really nice little fire. That is going to start under any kind of conditions, whether it's wet outside, during the winter, if where you're viewing from has snow, anything like that. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I'm the Wolfman. Please consider subscribing.